Welcome back to Bazaar Morning Call. Well, this morning there are plenty of stocks to look at, so let's get straight to it, right? Asian Paints, first up, came out with a weak set of numbers. Mangalam is here to get us up to speed on what went wrong. Mangalam, good morning.
Good morning. So this could well be the accident of today because, it was poor numbers coming in from Asian Paints, and this is not typically expected of a company like Asian Paints itself. The company said, demand conditions for the paint industry were tough this time around, largely because of the general elections and the heat wave as well. And then revenue was lower on account of the inferior product mix and the price cuts that the company had taken earlier itself. So if you look at the numbers, the street wasn't expecting great numbers anyway, and the company is disappointed on those, expectations as well. So revenue below expectations, 8970 crores versus a poll of 9200 crores. EBITDA around 1700 crores. The street was working with a number just shy of 2000 crores. Margins coming in at 19%. The street was working with a number of 21%. And as a result of which, the net profit just below 1200 crores. We were working with a number of a little over 1400 crores as well. Year on year as well, the revenues have declined by 2%. We have the EBITDA declining by 20%, multi-quarter low for the margins, and the net profit down 25%. Domestic volume growth came in at 7%, in line with estimates, but value growth was a lot lower. The company in the conference call has said that the conditions will improve going forward, and they maintain their double-digit volume growth target for this year. It will be very interesting to see where the stock settles in today's trading session. Likely to open in the red, but it's already corrected 20% from the highs, and brokerages have cut their estimates. But going forward, if the management has indicated that they maintain their guidance, could we see a buy on dips is something that we'll watch out for today.
Okay, let's keep an eye out on that. Start in the red, and then let's see whether or not there is some buying on a bit of a dip, because it appears the street was positioned for a weakish set of numbers. But let's hop across to Rima. She's here to tell us about LTIMindtree. Morning, Rima.
Hi, good morning. So this is the third IT companies where the numbers are slightly ahead of street expectation. LTIMindtree beats street expectation, a modest beat, but there is a beat on the top line. The company's delivered a 2.6% quarter-on-quarter revenue growth ahead of expectations, and the last couple of quarters have been sluggish for the company, but this time growth has come back because there are some green shoots the company sees. Some of the paused projects which were put on hold in BFSI, high-tech have been resumed, and that's led to the growth. BFSI has returned to growth after 4 quarters of a decline. Margins have gone up by 30 basis points in line with expectation. Profits up 3%. The company says that while the overall broader environment remains unchanged, they are seeing some recovery in high priority transformation projects, and they expect the growth momentum to continue in the next quarter too. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Well, a couple of other stocks that we're looking at this morning. I'm tracking Bajaj Auto. Now, of course, the numbers came out, but a lot of brokerages continue to be very bullish on Bajaj Auto. Jefferies has retained a buy with a target price of 11,630, which is well above the current market price. Goldman Sachs has raised its target price to 10,200 versus 9,970 earlier. BofA Securities has also raised its target price, so the street is very bullish on this name. Now, reasons for the bullish views also post the conference call. There are a couple of positive triggers that are working for Bajaj Auto. One is that the margin performance has been very steady, and despite higher raw material costs, the management has been able to hold margins at 20% for 3 consecutive quarters. Second is the new growth segments are ramping up very well. The Triumph is doing very well, and the export markets, which were suffering quite a bit, are now starting to see a bit of a pickup. The expectation is that it will improve in the September quarter. However, Africa still continues to underperform, led by the Nigerian markets. The other positive is that the Bajaj Freedom 125cc, the bookings have opened across the country, which is its new CNG bike, and the response has been very strong. So if you look at it, the Freedom 125 has garnered over 30,000 inquiries in just 1 week, and this is a space which is really growing well, the CNG space, not just in two-wheelers but in passenger vehicle space as well. So that is one segment that is looking pretty good. In fact, Rakesh Sharma, the Executive Director of Bajaj Auto, will join in at 9:30 to discuss more on these developments. But Rima is back with us to talk about Justdial and Zensar Tech. Rima, over to you.
Thanks so much for that. So let me start with Justdial, where the revenue growth momentum for the company has slowed down. So on a year-on-year basis, revenue growth stands at 13.6%. But the margin expansion for the company is fairly commendable. On a year-on-year basis, we've seen the margins expand from sub 15% to 28%. And even on a quarter-on-quarter basis, margins are up from 26% to 28.7%. Zensar has made a small tuck-in acquisition which boosts their capabilities in the healthcare space. So the acquired company, Bridgeview Life Sciences, has revenues of about $13 million, which is about 2% of Zensar's annual sales, and the company will be spending an overall of $25 million, of which $14 million will be spent upfront. Back to you.
All right, thanks very much for that, Rima. Zee Entertainment should also be in focus. Mangalam is back with us to tell us why. Mangalam, morning.
Good morning. So they were looking to raise funds, and we have the outcome of that board meeting as well. They will issue 10-year worth, fully convertible bonds worth nearly $240 million. They would be converted into equity at around 160.2 rupees per share, a little over the current price of around 155 rupees. But, in case of conversion, the post-money dilution would be close to 11.7%. What happens to the promoter stake at 3.99% is something that the street will eye. The fact that they have to raise funds and there is no near-term reprieve in sight could take the stock lower. In any case, it ended about 3% lower on the previous trading session. Maybe opens in the red on account of this development as well.
Okay, thanks for that. Well, Techno Electric is another stock we're looking at. Yash is here to give us more on that. Yash, over to you.
Well, importantly for Techno Electric, its QIP opened on Tuesday. What we've been given to understand from our sources is that the company is looking to raise about 1,250 crore rupees through this particular QIP. The floor price of the QIP is set at 1,506 rupees per share, and the reason why I expect the stock to be in green is because of the very, very strong demand from what I understand from my investment banking sources, and B, the discount which the management is giving is just up to about 5% to that floor price. So that also bodes well for the stock, and I expect the stock to be in green today.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Yash. Well, let's hop across to Abhishek, who's here to tell us about L&T Finance. Morning, Abhishek.
Morning, Nigel. So, unlike in the previous quarters, wherein Q1 was on weaker side with respect to asset quality based on Q4 numbers, this time around the asset quality has largely remained stable with both gross NPA and net NPA ratio as well. So, disbursements are up 21.5% YOY and down about 2.3% sequentially. AUM growth is at 12.9% YOY and about 3.7% sequentially. But the key heartening point to see in the results are the net interest margin and the return on asset. Both are at 9-year or even higher with respect to the numbers that have come in. Net interest margin has come in at 9.3% versus 9.14% in the previous quarter. ROA has increased to 2.7% when compared to 2.2% in the previous quarter. Even the return on equity, one of the best that you are seeing in last 18 quarters, and in double digit, it's come in at 11.5%. So net interest income is up almost 23% YOY and about 5.8% sequentially. The PAT is up 29% YOY and about 24% sequentially. So expect the stock to be in green today. Back to you.
All right. Abhishek, we'll have the management with us as well. The L&T Finance management at 9:50 this morning. Mr. Sudipta Roy is MD and CEO of the company, and will sort of running us through some of the detail and outlook there. But Abhishek, tell us about ESAF Small Finance Bank and Bajaj Electricals as well.
Well, to begin with, ESAF SFB, RBI has granted 3-year extension to Mr. K.P. Thomas as the MD and CEO of the bank. This is with effective of 1st October 2024. He is the co-founder of the bank, and continuity of management should go well with investors in trade today. Bajaj Electricals, Mr. Anuj Podar, MD and CEO, has resigned. He intends to explore an external opportunity. Board has accepted his resignation, and they have fixed 30th September 2024 as his last working day. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Well, here's a quick recap of our top stocks with positive news flow. There's LTIMindtree, Bajaj Auto, L&T Finance, ESAF Small Finance Bank, Justdial, Zensar, Zee Entertainment and Techno Electric. While stocks with negative news flow, Asian Paints, Zee Entertainment and Bajaj Electricals. Okay, well, let's take a short break. We'll be joined by Dipan Mehta, the director at Elixir Equities, to discuss fundamental stock analysis in just a bit.